Hello, Higher Life community. This is Dr. Erin. I am recording this because my Zoom did not record this morning, so I am here to record it again for you. So it will not be live with all of your beautiful faces to interact with, but I wanted to make sure to get this information to you for day one if you were not able to be with us. So welcome to Elevate Your Mindset. I am so happy you are here. I am a woman that does not believe in coincidences, and you probably don't either. I think there's a reason that you're here and a reason I'm here and a reason that we're here together. And I'm just so excited for you. You know, as a psychologist, I'm actually surprised that this wasn't the first masterclass I ever did. I've been doing a masterclass every month since January. I've been a coach for about 6 years, but I've been doing a series of masterclasses, and this one, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so excited for you. We're going to go on a journey about what it means to be a human and have these brains that have these thoughts and how to really elevate our mindset. So I know some things about you if you're here in the Higher Life because you've answered your questions to get into the group. And here's what we know. We have a beautiful tribe of women who are success-driven women, who are ready for their next breakthrough, who are ready to stop being the women that will start on Monday, if you know what I mean, who are ready to make the money. She's ready to make the money that she deserves and knows she's worthy of. You know, you're here if you understand that this thing between our ears, this brain of ours, can be our greatest business partner, can be our greatest cheerleader, can be our greatest best friend, but it can be a dangerous neighborhood to hang out in also. So I want to help you with your mindset this week. I am so excited. So let's chat about what we're going to do. Okay. You're going to learn the psychology and the scientifically proven, most recent researched way to train your brain for lasting change. This really is not a course on toxic positivity. So toxic positivity, if you're here for that, you are not going to enjoy this course. You know, toxic positivity is this idea that we should just always think positive. And if you have a negative thought, just say, no, we're not having that thought. And here's what I take a stand for. I take a stand for being truthful about what it really means to be a human, and the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows and all of the feelings that it means to be a human. So I always like to say our call sign, our hello sign in the Higher Life is me too, meaning I'm a human. Are you a human? If so, say me too. So everyone say me too. You're a human too. You're in the right place. We're going to train your brain to be your best business partner, your best friend. We're going to set yourself free from limiting beliefs and teach you actually how to have this relationship with your brain in a way that serves you. So before I teach you all the strategies about what to do to grow your business and to grow your influence, your confidence, your productivity, and all the things, we really need to start with the inner work. We need to talk about the psychology of this all, okay? So this masterclass is for you if you are a success-driven woman who knows that you can bet on yourself, that you know you want to become more disciplined. You want to actually do what you say you're going to do. You're ready for your big breakthrough. You know you're being called to leadership, or maybe a team is coming behind you and you have no clue what you're doing and you're kind of worried about that, nervous about that. This class is for you. You know, you're a woman that you want to start to tell your brain what to do instead of it telling you what to do. You know what I mean? You want to end the self-sabotage. You want to think like the CEO version of yourself. So, okay. Let me tell you this before we get started. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing together this next week. This next 5 days, it's so exciting. Okay. So here's the deal. It's a win-win. What's going to happen in the next 5 days? I am going to give you the best that I have, all of the information that I want you to know about mindset in these next 5 days. Some of you are going to decide that you want to work with me and continue to work with me. And I'm going to share with you how you can do that at the end of the week here. I have a group program that I'm launching, and I have one-on-one program. And I'm so really looking forward to sharing all of that with you. But here's the thing, whether you end up working with me or not, I'm going to give you some information this week that has the power to transform your life, to be the beginning of your next level. I named it Elevate because in the higher life, we talk about what it means to live the high performance life, to tap in with your highest self, to be guided by your higher self or your higher power, whatever you call it, and to elevate your mindset, your confidence, your productivity, your motivation, your health, your wealth, success, influence, joy, happiness, all the things. We're taking everything higher in the higher life. So before we do that, I want to let you know that this whole entire week, if you know that you're someone that wants to work with me, reach out. We can hop on a consult call. I've got lots of openings this week to get on a call with you. Would love to do that. And if not, like I said, I'm going to promise to deliver you transformational information. Okay. So I'm going to show up, give you the best that I got. You're going to get a really great sense of what it's like to work with me. And here we go. All right. So before we talk about brains, we're going to talk about brains today. We're going to talk about what these brains of ours do and what it means to be a human and have these brains and how they function, what their job is and how they can get in our way and how we can work with them. But I want you to understand kind of this groundwork, this foundational idea of the universal law of cause and effect. I want you to understand that everything that has an effect had a cause. Every cause has an effect. And here's how it works when it comes to our mindset and our thought life. First, we have a thought. That thought creates an effect of us having a feeling. So we have a thought and then we have a feeling. As a result of our feeling, we then take a certain action or behavior, and then our behaviors or actions get us a certain result. That is my dog playing with his bone in the background. I hope you don't really hear that. Okay, so we have a thought, feeling, action, and then we get a result. So I want you to understand, if you take a look around in your life and maybe you're realizing you're not seeing the results that you would like in your business or your health or your relationships or your mindset, the results that you're currently getting is because the thinking that you've been thinking in a certain way. And in order to get a different result, you're going to need to change that thinking. And that's where I know a lot of you might be feeling stuck. And I want you to know, I got you. We're going to get you unstuck. I know how to help you change that and get unstuck. And so we're going to throw the science at that. So we're going to really look at, first I have a thought, then I have a feeling that leads me to behave that gets me results. So if I want different results, I need different thinking. So, okay. What's so exciting is I want you to understand, some of you are new to me and some of you have been in my world for some time, but I want you to understand that everything I'm sharing with you is not only based on the best research, the 30 years of research that we have as psychologists about the brain and neuroscience and cognitive behavioral theory and the science of high performance, but it's everything that I used to change my own life. I don't teach things until I've mastered them. And I want you to understand that everything I'm teaching you is what I used. If I look back, and if you're new to me, tell you a little bit about me and why I'm here teaching this, but how did someone like me who was financially bankrupt years ago move on to creating several six-figure businesses? It's because of my mindset. How did someone who, I was in network marketing for 6 years, never saw past $200 in my check for the month. How did that go from that to becoming one of the top 30 global income earners in my company? That was because of my mindset. How did I go from someone that was addicted to sugar, that would eat Oreos, inappropriately, to winning a bikini fitness competition at age 40? That was because of my mindset. How did I say for 6 years, no, I don't sell. No, I'm not a salesperson, to becoming the professional saleswoman of the year in Nevada? That was my mindset. How did I go from being clinically depressed? 8 years ago, I was clinically depressed, suicidal at times, to becoming one of the happiest people that I know. That's my mindset. And then last, I look at about 6 years ago when I started my business. I didn't know anyone and no one knew me. I had been in private practice for 13 years. I had never really left my office. I was raising our family. We had little children at the time. I had never been to a networking meeting, where people eat, chicken with strangers. I had never done any of that. How did I go from that a few short years ago to be named this year by Success Magazine as one of the 125 top global leaders to follow in 2022? My mindset. So I've been there and I've changed my brain. I've completely changed my life with the technology that I'm going to share with you this week. So please know that this will work for you if you work it. And I'm just so honored to share it with you. Okay. So let's talk about brains. Let's talk about brains. What do brains do? Okay. So here's the thing about our brains. They have certain jobs, and it's in your worksheet if you want to turn to your workbook here, but let's talk about our brains. One of our brain's job is to keep us safe, to keep us alive. Sounds kind of dramatic, but it's true. Our brains are surveying our world, taking in information, trying to keep us alive. Okay. We only need one trial learning, for example, when you put your hand on a hot stove, to realize I don't ever want to do that again. Okay. So our brain's job is to keep us safe and alive. Our brain's job also is to turn the randomness of this world into order. In other words, our brain's job is to make sense of things. Okay. Do this, don't do that. Oh, that works for that. That doesn't work for that. Oh, that person's, fun to be around. That person's not. Oh, everything we look at and experience is data that our brain is trying to make sense of. Okay. That will get me successful. That didn't work. Everything. It's just what brains do. Our brains also work really hard to protect us from failing. Again, kind of along the lines of wants to keep us safe. Protect us from failing. Protect us from looking like a fool. Protect us from wasting our money, from wasting our time, from wasting our resources. Okay. Here's a kicker. Our brains compare and judge and rank order things all day long. All day long. Just what we're doing. We're comparing, contrasting, better, best, good, bad, successful, not successful. We are rank ordering and judging everything. It's just what brains do. We will be judging till the day we die. We can work on observing without judging, but our brains are wired to judge, to rank order. And then last, our brains are trying to protect us from being rejected and being ridiculed, being made fun of, being outcast. And so let's look at what the job description of being an entrepreneur is, or someone who's in an Elevate Your Mindset course that's looking to get a different result. The job description of that is, I have to go and do stuff I've never done before. That sounds a lot like risk taking. And so we've got a problem on our hands. We've got this job description of an entrepreneur or a person that wants to grow. And on the other hand, a brain that wants to protect. So when I really look at us humans, the ones that science shows are the happiest, healthiest ones of us are ones that are interested in two things. There's two commonalities between the happiest, healthiest, most successful people on the planet. The happiest, most successful people on the planet focus on contribution and growth. Contribution and growth. They are focused on how can I serve? How can I move forward my mission? How can I contribute to my family? How can I grow? And then growth. How can I grow? How can I grow? It's almost like if you're not growing, you're dying. It's that important for the happiest, healthiest people on the planet. So you've got this job description, like I said, of growing, which requires risk. So we've got to learn to train our brains to move from this safety zone to over here where we take risks. And the great news is this thing called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity. So let me break it down what this is. We've got neuroplasticity working for us. Our brains are capable of changing. We can train our brains to change. And what we're going to be doing, I'm going to describe it, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving from the land of probability to possibility. So what do I mean by that? If the brain's job is to collect data and say, okay, so far, 48 years on the planet, Dr. Erin, you've never been a millionaire. Okay, you want to go and be a millionaire. Okay, calculating, not probably going to happen. We're going to probability there. So your dream of being a millionaire, you're probably going to fail at that because you have 48 years of track record of failing at that or not making that happen. So let's keep you safe. Let's not let you fail. Let's not let you be disappointed. Let's not do that. So how do you work with those two that duality of being a human? Neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is this idea that you can change the neural pathways in your brain. So let me describe it like this. Let's say you've had a thought your whole life, just a thought you've repeated a lot. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you the thought that I had for most of my life, which was I am not good at public speaking and I'm not good at telling stories. I picked that up because along the way, there was someone in my family who, whenever I would tell a story, they would kind of ridicule me and they'd say, like, you're awful at telling stories. And they would interrupt me. And what did my brain learn to do? It learned to protect me. And so it said, okay, data in, whenever you speak or share stories, you get kind of punished, you get ridiculed, you get making fun of, you get interrupted. So let's come up with a great solution to not let that happen again. Let's never speak. Let's not speak in public. Let's not share your opinions. Let's not do that. So off I go to graduate school to get my doctorate in psychology. And the number one goal for me is to get me to speak. Like, they didn't really care even what I said, just that I would speak. Sorry, my dog just pushed the little pieces of wood off the stairs. Okay, so the goal in graduate school was to get me to talk. Now, fast forward, public speaking is like Disneyland for me. That is some evidence of neuroplasticity. So I learned to create a new pathway in my brain. So what we know, what the brain does, let's say it repeats certain thoughts over and over. You're not a good speaker. You're not a good speaker. You're not a good speaker. Imagine it's almost like a field of grass. And every time you travel that path and have that thought, you create this path in the grass. And over time, the more that your brain thinks that thought, it's like a groove that's a well-traveled path. And the grass gets, mowed down and you create an actual path in the grass. That's like a neural pathway in your brain, a groove, a neural groove in your brain where your brain automatically goes there. So let's say I then get asked to speak because I've got some great things to share in my business and I get terrified because I've been having this thought that I'm a terrible speaker all my life. I'm going to have to change my mindset in order to do that, right? So let's say I start telling my brain, it's okay, you've hired a speaking coach. You are safe. You no longer will be ridiculed. She's not here in the audience, all those kind of things. I'm taking a new pathway, so to speak, in the grass, and the new pathway is getting laid. And the old pathway, the grass is going to grow up in the old pathway, and my brain takes the new pathway. So the coolest thing ever is when you change your brain, it can also generalize to other areas of your life. So let's say you become courageous in one area of your life, you will most likely become courageous in other areas of your life. If you become disciplined in one area of your life, you will most likely become disciplined in other areas of your life. It's just how it works. It's so great. It's like you change your brain, okay? So I want you to think of a time where you have experienced neuroplasticity, where you have actually trained your brain to think differently, think of a time where you had a limiting belief and you no longer have it. So a couple people shared in today's session. One was a woman sharing that she used to feel really scared to put herself out there, to go on Facebook Lives, that she would be, made fun of. And then she learned to train her brain to think, you know what, they don't pay my bills, and they can think what they want. I'm here to build this business for my family. That's a time where she used neuroplasticity to train her thinking, and it created a new neural pathway. And now she goes live and she's not nearly as scared, and she's visible, and she's speaking up on calls like this, right? Okay. So we also talked about in that example, toxic positivity world would say, just tell your thought. Don't have that thought. Just delete, cancel. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. No one's judging me. It's all fine. That's toxic positivity. What I would suggest is to recognize that even if people are judging you, which they are, you can handle it. So I want you to understand, if you've been judging, comparing, ranking your whole life, so is everyone else. So you've been judged and without even knowing, and you survived it. So I wanted to give you that perspective. I don't know if you feel like that's good news or bad news, but I think it's good news, because I think to try to escape this stuff that's going to happen in your normal life, like people are going to have thoughts about you, and there's going to be a target on your back when you become really, really successful. It just is the way it is. To recognize that the neural pathway doesn't have to be this toxic positivity one of, I don't care. No negative thoughts will get to my space. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. Remember, we said we're all human. So that's not true. We do care. So how do we navigate when something's actually real and it's limiting? Well, we navigate that and say, I can show up for that. I can be the kind of woman that can learn to tolerate that. And I can grow my emotional maturity and my emotional intelligence and my emotional mastery and my emotional leadership so that I can learn to tolerate that. Okay. So think of a time where you used to have a thought and you no longer have that thought, and you've replaced it with a totally different thought. So my example is, if I speak in public, I will totally embarrass myself, to I love being a keynote speaker. I mean, that's a big change, right? Okay, so that's an example of how you change your brain. Last, I want you to understand that your thoughts have created your reality. And this is good news, because your thoughts will create your future reality. So I want you to take a look around in your life, maybe even the room you're in. And I want you to understand something that's really, really radical, foundational truth. That everything that you see in your physical world is the result of your thoughts. And let's take it even further. Your physical reality is not a result of who you are right now. It's actually a result of who you were. So the reality you're currently living in is a result of the thoughts that you had. And the future that you're creating and going to step into is a result of the thoughts you're having now. So interesting, right? So again, I think this is such great news, because if you can visualize what you want, you can go and co-create that with your higher power, your highest self. That's put on your heart for a reason. That is what's possible. That you are that powerful. Your brain is that powerful. And when you really realize that, you're going to want to spend some time making sure that you're using it for good, right? And that you are really understanding the power of your mind. That your physical reality began with a thought that then led you to have a feeling, that then led you to take action or not take action, that then led you to see the result in your physical world. Manifesting, I suppose we could say, in the physical world. So it's amazing. I want to leave you with some quotes from some really, really smart people in the world, okay? So Jim Rohn, he was the father of personal development. He said, you become what you think about. Mahatma Gandhi said, a man is but a product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Buddha said, we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Tony Robbins said, whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life. It's powerful. Zig Ziglar said, your business is really never good or bad out there. Your business is either good or bad right between your own two ears. I always say your best business partner is here, right? These 6 inches between your ears. The big book teaches, be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life, and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So now we know that if you want your life to change, your thoughts must change. If you want your discipline to change, your thoughts must change. If you want your confidence to change, your thoughts must change. If you want your income to change, your thoughts must change. If you want to experience your next big breakthrough, as I know you do, your thoughts must change. So here's where we're going. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about pain and suffering. We're actually going to talk about how to navigate what it means to be a human and to have these limiting negative thoughts. And I'm going to give you the technology that blows toxic positivity. Sorry, I said that backwards. It just blows it out of the water, and it'll give you a whole framework to use for the rest of your life. It will be life-changing, this framework. I call it bless and release. And it's this understanding that we now know as psychologists, that when you allow the resistance, it reduces the resistance. So we're going to talk about that. Day 3, we are going to set ourselves free. We're going to set ourselves free on day 3. That sounds great, right? Day 4, we're going to talk about the neuroscience of creating lasting brain change. And day 5 is where we're going to kind of seal the deal. And we're going to talk about how our thoughts are related to our behaviors. And we're going to talk about creating a business and a life that we're obsessed with. And we're going to talk about how our thinking dictates what we do and the aligned actions we have to take. Because I know a lot of you are probably thinking, yeah, Erin, you did all of these wonderful things, but you did a lot of things. It wasn't just your mindset. But I think you understand today now that because of my thoughts, I took the aligned action that brought me the certain results. So it truly does begin with your thoughts. So I will see you here tomorrow. I have a little special something to share with you before we do that. And it is this: if you feel aligned to share this masterclass with your people, I would be so honored if you do that. Please tag me at Dr. Erin Oksel, or tag Suzanne Simone, who is the Higher Life team, or tag the Higher Life team. So it's at the Higher Life team, but you can just tag me in your posts. I am going to be raffling off on Wednesday 2 of these. These are called My Business in a Box. Dr. Erin's Mind Your Own Business Online Academy. I got to show you, it's so cool. So if you open this up, inside there is this flash drive, and it has my whole course on how to grow a successful business and the habits of high performers. It's $497 value. I'm going to raffle off 2 of these. If you share this course with people, if you don't feel aligned to share, no problemo. Don't worry about it. But if you do, you'll be put in the raffle, and 2 of you are going to get this. So I really am on a mission to help people understand how to train their brains to become unstoppable, with the real deal, the real psychology of it, right? We have got to share this good news with people. And so anyone that joins, they can watch today's replay, get caught up, and hop in tomorrow. Same time every day, 1 o'clock Pacific. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will give you the system to bless and release those negative limiting beliefs. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here with me. Bye, everyone.